Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution, issue number 4 from IDW. This is the penultimate issue. Basically, there's going to be one more issue left, and then this run is done. But I'm going to guess that there's probably going to be a Last Ronin 3, just because I feel like there's too many story threads for them to all finish it up in one issue. But I guess we'll see. So yeah, in the last issue, the Purple Dragons attacked Casey Marie Jones in April's lair and destroyed it, and flooded it. And so now they're looking for a new base, and that base is going to be on Roosevelt Island. And so they take the reporter that they befriended in the last issue with them, and they go to Roosevelt Island, where Casey Marie is upset with her mom, because this island was supposed to be like a backup plan. Basically, if crap hit the fan, they were going to use this island as an escape plan, basically. And instead, April has been using this as a secondary base. She has people here already. She has been building stuff. Basically, she kept the fact that they had another base that was currently operating under Casey's nose. And of course, she's upset. She's like, why didn't you tell me about that? And April just kind of gives her some BS about it was on a need-to-know basis and you didn't need to know. I thought I was keeping you safe by keeping you in the dark. I'm just kind of thinking, you're in the middle of a war. When has keeping someone in the dark ever been a good thing? During a war, when has it ever benefited? You would think that you would want to tell someone who you would think you would trust. I mean, it's your own daughter. Like, hey, we have the secondary base that we're operating out of. Here's what's going on. But no, she kept a secret from her. And we get introduced to this other character named Marley, who just, I'll be honest, this series has a really bad problem when it comes to female characters and the way that they look. Every single female, minus the reporter. The reporter is fine. But other than that, every character here that's a female looks like a dude. Look at Casey Marie. She looks like a man. She has a bigger chin than Bruce Campbell. April looks nothing like April. There's no hints of April in her face. And I get it. She's old. But here's an image of old April. This looks like April. Now compare that to this April. Doesn't look like April at all. There's nothing here that screams April. In fact, you showing me this picture of April, the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, this is an old dude. There's nothing feminine about this whatsoever. It looks exactly like a dude. And Marley just looks like an out of shape dude as well. Everyone looks like a dude. All the females. And I'm not up here saying that I need nothing but sexy, attractive women. I'm not saying that this comic should be like anime level fan service when it comes to the women. But I have noticed that every woman in this issue looks like a man. It's one thing if it's just like one or two, like, okay, whatever. Like maybe it's just, women all look different and stuff. There are some unattractive women out there. Just like there's some unattractive dudes. It's whatever. But this is a theme that I've noticed in this entire run. All the women look like dudes. We go to the base, we'll look around. Casey's upset with April. We have this other interesting thing. I don't know why they do this, but sometimes this issue will do different colors for the dialogue when the turtles are talking. So when the different turtles are talking, they might have like a red dialogue bubble or a light blue or a cream color, tan, whatever you want to call this color. And the thing is, like, it doesn't really work because these turtles don't really have a color scheme. Like, I know they all look different, but there's no, like, it's not like the classic turtles where there's colors associated with them. Like you see orange and you think Michelangelo. You see purple, you think Donatello. Leo with blue, Raphael with red. There's nothing like that here. Like there's no color scheme to these turtles. So when you're doing these colored bubbles, it's like, okay, whatever. It's too late at this point to try to like give them color themes because we don't have any with them. And the other thing is that you're not doing this all the time. We literally will have them talking in white with the white, bubble. And then the very next panel, they're talking in a colored bubble. So it's like, okay, what are you doing here? Why do some of the dialogues have colors and then the others don't? They go into the base, and that's when Professor Honeycutt like morphs into what looks like a T-1000 kind of. And we get some talks with the evil villain, which I'm kind of skip. It's kind of interesting how one of them looks like a crusader. Too bad we don't have like any interesting backstory with any of these characters, really. They just kind of feel like they're just there. So I'm going to be skipping a bunch of that stuff. So yeah, Honeycutt forms and is alive. And then, of course, all the resistance fighters think it's a threat and are about to shoot him. And then we get masculine April appearing in front and saying, you know, stand down, he's one of us. And again, just what looks like April here? There's no like aspects of April in this design choice at all. It's terrible. Another thing I've noticed is that there is way too much writing. Like the beautiful thing about comics is you can do a lot of showing rather than telling. But this, like here, I'll throw this page right here. Just look at all the dialogue. I mean, obviously I've colored it out, but you can see how much dialogue is here. We have multiple pages of stuff like this. At this point, it's like, why don't you just write a novel? I don't mind reading when it comes to comics, obviously, but if you got to do like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs worth of dialogue in just one page, maybe you're in the wrong medium. And the funny thing is that it's dialogue that doesn't really go anywhere. That's the problem with this series is we have not just the fact that you have to wait months before you get the next issue, but it's like it feels like a slog to read through because it's almost like a novel. And then when you're done, you're like, okay, nothing really happened. Like I can summarize this entire issue down in like a sentence and that's it. And I'll get to that later. But it just feels like I'm reading a lot and I'm not really going anywhere with the plot. So yeah, we have more buff Casey Marie being upset with masculine April. We have like a little flashback of like what their life was like before everyone died. And I kind of wish that this was the story that they told instead, where we got like flashes of like what happened in the original Last Ronin run, but most of it was basically Mikey's story. It was Mikey's story of coming to this city, coming back home, realizing it's been taken over by this evil dictator who's the son of Karai, grandson of Shredder, and meeting up with old friends and basically dealing with the fact that he's lost everybody. And we just get brief flashes of how everyone died, but we didn't really get to see what happened. And I kind of feel like if you're going to continue this series, which I don't think he should have. I think the Last Ronin should have died with Mikey. Once Mikey died, Last Ronin should have died with him. I don't care for this new generation. I don't care for... Like, I like Casey Marie in The Last Ronin. I don't really care for her in The Last Ronin 2. It feels like we're reading two different characters. But if you're going to continue this, then make it flashbacks. Make this series should have just been what led up to the betrayal, what led up to, like, Raphael dying. And then what's the aftermath of him dying? How does him dying like lead to the explosion that killed Leo and Casey, which led to Donnie being killed, which basically we get to see more of what led to them getting to this point. But instead we get like little just small snippets. So that's what we get here with the flashback. It's just little snippets of the story, what happened in between all the chaos. Speaking of masculine looking women, here we have a new one. So this is Tinker 2. I guess she's the junior of Tinker. And yeah, this is a woman. But can you guess? If you were to just look at this, you would think, oh, this is a dude. Like the only feminine thing about this character is a small little butterfly headband that she has. Other than that, this straight up looks like a dude. Which just kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where all the females look like dudes. And then we also have where one of the characters... I believe it might be Moja. One of the turtles gains a new secret power, which is the power of telepathy. They can basically speak to each other in their heads. So yeah, that's another thing where the turtles all gain superpowers, which is very anti-turtles. I don't care for that either. I mentioned this so many times in previous Last Ronin 2 issues where I don't care for these characters because there's really nothing that sets them apart. I mean, yeah, they all look different, but other than that, I can't really... I can kind of nail down some of their personalities, but it's just very wishy-washy. They all have the same fighting style, basically. They all use the same weapons. And now they have separate special powers, which I guess is something. I guess that's another thing that this kind of bothers me, is the fact that if you're going to go with this new generation, then really run with them. They almost feel like background characters. This feels more like a Casey Marie story than anything else. It doesn't feel like a turtle story. The turtles are there, but it almost feels like they have no impact in the story or what's going on around them. They almost kind of seem like observers. They participate in stuff, but that's kind of it. Like you can take them out and the story wouldn't really change all that much. So yeah, I think I'm kind of just done when it comes to this review. So I said I can sum up this entire thing in like one sentence. And that's basically that they go to a new base, argue with each other a lot, and then they decide to go back to their old base to go find any survivors. There you go. That's the story. That's literally what this entire issue is about. And yet it drags and drags and drags and drags and drags. It's so many pages of paragraphs worth of dialogue and it goes nowhere. It almost feels like that meme where you have someone, like a student, trying to write an essay and they need to write a certain amount of words. Like you have to have a certain word count and you're not there. So you're just kind of BSing and using a bunch of different words to just fill it up. That's what this is. It's filler dialogue that's not really needed to tell this story. All in all, I think this series sucks, which is a shame because I love the Turtles. I mean, anyone just look at this channel. Look how many videos of the Turtles I have from so many different versions and volumes and stuff. I cover a lot of Turtle things. I love them. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time, not just in comics, but like in media in general. I love The Last Ronin, even though I kind of have like a bittersweet feeling when it comes to them because on the one hand, I love the writing and things. On the other hand, I'm seeing all my favorite characters being killed off, so that's really sad. But it was really good, and it should have just died with Mikey. Every other follow-up to that run just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And it's really a shame. It feels like they had lightning in the bottle, and now they're just trying to milk the hell out of this name as much as they can. They just think they can just slap the Last Ronin name and it'll sell gangbusters. And I don't know, maybe it is selling pretty good, but the quality is not there. I don't recommend Last Ronin 2. I recommend Last Ronin 1. I highly recommend it. Read it and then stop it there. As far as anyone should be concerned, the series died with Mikey. Once you finish The Last Ronin, just put it down. Don't pick up any follow-up. Don't pick up The Last Ronin 2. Don't pick up The Lost Years. Don't pick up the one-shot special. None of them are all that great. The series should have died with Mikey. Yeah, that's it. I think I've ranted long enough about this. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.